Hey everybody, how's it going? Looks like I'm having an issue. My live streaming application actually disappeared from my computer. Oh, there it went. Okay, how's everybody doing this morning? Nice to be here. It looks like we've got a few people in the stream already. Come say hello if you haven't already. Let's see. But yeah, happy to be doing another AMA for this month. Yeah, hope everyone's been doing well. I've been pretty busy the last few weeks just catching up on everything. Actually, about to go on a little mini vacation. I'm not going anywhere, but I have some friends coming into town from Michigan to hang out for the next 4 or 5 days. So, get to be a tourist in my own city, which is always fun. But yeah, say hello. What questions do you have for me? Let me make sure everything is up and running here. It looks like we're good to go. Excellent. Yeah. So I'm just gearing up for a vacation starting today. I have next week's YouTube video is currently in progress. Don't have it quite finished yet, but working on it. Yeah. What is new with everybody? I actually have made a few new gear purchases recently. I've been excited to try and test out. Finally got some batteries for my lights. I've been doing more videography client work lately, so I've been needing to have kind of quicker, easier moving setup, so I actually got some big batteries to put on my lights. So that's one thing I've got going on right now. Another thing, I finally picked up a proper B camera, and that is the Sony a6400, essentially the little baby brother to the a7 III, which is what you're seeing now. So super excited to try this out and test it. Be sure to leave any questions if you want to hear some first impressions about this. But let's see. Hassan, how are you doing? How old are you? I'm 29 years old. I almost said 28. I'm 29 years old. Where were you in Michigan? I actually was born and raised in Metro Detroit. Moved around to a few different cities over my lifetime, but we were just about in Novi, just outside of Novi in New Hudson, right before we moved. So kind of like South Lyon, Milford, Novi area. That's where I was before I moved out to Portland. Before that, I lived in a few different cities, like I said, but that's where I was with my wife and I before we moved out here. Hassan also asks, what degree do you have, if any? I do not have a degree, actually. I did go to college for graphic design, which I still really love. I don't do that much design work outside of just handling things for the YouTube channel and social media pages and whatnot. But yeah, I did go to school for graphic design, but I ended up dropping out of college to go tour with my band. So I never ended up finishing. I debated going back to finish, but over time, as I kind of fell out of graphic design as a career, I just didn't want to spend the money on going back. But yeah, I did go to school for graphic design. I'm from the Detroit area. That's awesome. Yeah, I still, even being out in Portland the last few years, I am still a Michigander at heart and have a lot of Michigan and Detroit pride in me. Super cool to see, even since we moved in 2016, all of the changes that have happened downtown. It's a whole new city over there, which is super cool. Tio says, hi, what books do you recommend? Ooh, big question. Depending on what genres or anything, I don't read a ton of nonfiction. I actually haven't had a ton of time to read in general over the last year, unfortunately. But yeah, I was a big fan. If anyone saw the Netflix series You, that was based on a book. I can't remember. I think it was... I can't remember the author, but there's a whole series from that You show. They're all excellent books. It's funny to see when there's been a bunch of books I've read coming out and turning into TV shows and movies in the last year or so, just because the cycle of production time. I was reading a ton a few years ago right around when I started the YouTube channel. And so a lot of those books that I read back then are finally being turned into like movies and TV shows and stuff. You was an amazing book. And then Hidden Bodies was the sequel. I read that recently and it was also really good. So I would check those out. As far as nonfiction, there's not a ton. Like I said, I haven't read a ton of nonfiction books, but a few biographies and stuff that I've read. Paddle Your Own Canoe by Nick Offerman was a really, really cool book. Check that out as well. Tio also asked, do you sing or play guitar or piano? Kind of to all three. I wouldn't say I'm great at anything, especially not singing, but I was the lead singer of a band in high school, just because it was my band and I didn't want to sing, but it just made sense for me to sing because I was writing most of the music and controlling everything and I was kind of the leader. But yeah, I'm not much of a singer, especially now, even worse than I was back then. But I do play a little bit of guitar. I wouldn't say I'm great at it, but I can, thumb around quite a bit. I played bass in my band that I was in that toured and everything. I played bass in that, but I can play a little bit of guitar and I can play a little bit of piano. But I also have been casually learning the banjo for the last, 8-10 years or so. Haven't done as much. I'm worse at banjo than I am at guitar, bass, or piano. But then I also can play trombone and trumpet and euphonium. I think that's everything. Yeah. Tio, will you do a room or a house tour? Yes, I will. Eventually. Originally I was going to do one right when we moved in, but my wife gets a little spooked about like internet privacy stuff, especially because her business, she's relatively public with her hairstyling business, where she just doesn't want all of her clients to know where she lives, and she's just afraid that'll give it away. But she's kind of come around to it a bit more. I will probably. Oh, what happened? What? Let's see. Oh, are we back up? Oh, okay. Technical difficulties. 1 second here. Looks like we're having some issues with the internet. Sorry about this, everybody. Let me see what is happening. Video output low. What internet are we on? Let me switch networks. Let me see here. Hopefully we are back up again. Let's see. Is that better? All right, hang in with me. How's it seeming out there? I just got disconnected. I think it's an issue with my internet. Speaking of that, if you can hear this, CenturyLink has been absolute garbage internet, so I would not recommend it. Let's see. I'm going to wait until we are back up and smooth again before I keep answering questions. If someone can let me know how this is looking or seeming in the comments, that would be excellent. Let's see. I don't know what is happening here. It's looking like everything I can control. Okay. All right, we're back up, I think. Let me know if you have any issues. I'm going to keep talking. I've got the green light signal on my streaming. But yeah, I'll probably end up doing an apartment tour at some point. We still have a few kind of like finishing touches on the design that I have not been able to finish up yet, just for money reasons. We've been trying to save every little bit I can while I get the business going. Okay, everyone's saying it looks good. I've got a weird screen here, but all right, let's keep doing. So yeah, apartment tour is coming at some point. I wanted to do an office tour as well, but again, I just haven't been doing much to my office right now, just because I wanted to save money as I'm getting the business built up. You guys saw my organization board thing that's right next to my desk here. Essentially, other than this desk and that, there's nothing else in my office. But yeah, the rest of the apartment, I'll do a tour at some point. Let's see. mood, fitness. 127 kilograms, 188 centimeters, doing 24-hour fast. My OMAD is chicken salad with no fat and carbs. I lost a good amount of weight. I was 152 kilograms. What do you recommend in the future? Sorry for bad typing. Just keep, track your calories. I always recommend for any weight loss stuff, you want to make things as simple as absolutely possible. Over my years of dieting and years of maintenance, keeping track of your calories is going to yield you pretty much all of the results. So just track your calories, aim for 500 less calories than you burn. Your daily calorie burn is a number called your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. There's tons of calculators online to get a rough idea of what that number is for you. Don't take the calculators verbatim. It'll be a good estimate, but you'll have to do some experimenting to see for yourself. But yeah, calculate your BMR, aim for 500 calories less than that, and just do that. I don't recommend restricting anything anymore or going low carb or low fat or low protein or any of that stuff. Tracking your macros is great if you can, but you don't need to track your macros to successfully lose weight. I think if you're paying attention to your overall calories, that will be enough to get you through 100 plus pound weight loss or any amount of weight loss that you need. So that's definitely what I would recommend. Just track your calories. And as far as which foods to eat and which foods not to eat, your calorie goal will self-regulate your diet, in my opinion. If you're being honest with yourself for the calories that you're eating, I think you can allow yourself to have, bad foods or junk foods or whatever you want to call it, just because you'll realize pretty quickly that you can't have that stuff very often without going over your calories. So if you're staying within your calorie goals, it'll kind of auto-regulate what foods are going to be best for you, for your diet. It's all about making it personalized to you and making it as easy as possible to follow. You might yield better results for cutting out carbs or something by a few percentage points. But if you're going to fall off track after a couple of months when you need to do this for a couple of years, you're going to end up gaining more weight back or stalling and losing progress. Slow, steady, and easy is always the way to go. Let's see. Willie Padilla. Lost about 30 pounds from just walking frequently, having calorie deficit, but I still feel out of shape. Pretty self-conscious about working out in the gym. Alternatives. One, probably the most important thing with kind of physique, your body fat percentage is going to make you feel out of shape more so than not having enough muscle. And this is relatively opinion. So take that for what it is. But leaning yourself out more will make you look and appear more muscular. So just keep lowering your overall body fat if you feel like you're not lean enough. And as far as workouts, if you're self-conscious to go in the gym, don't worry about it. You can get, search YouTube for body weight exercise or resistance band training. I'm planning on probably showing you guys kind of what I've been doing in my home office to work out. But there's a bunch of much more experienced fitness people on YouTube that'll be able to explain it better than I can. And we'll have a lot more variety of workouts and information for you. So just search body weight exercises. You can be as fit as you want or need to be from home. You don't need to step in a gym. But I will also say, don't worry about going to the gym for self-conscious reasons. I would try and work up to being able to go if that is a goal of yours or something you really want to do. You don't feel like you need to go to the gym, but if it is something that you want to do, just remember, no one really cares. No one's looking at you. Everyone's paying attention to themselves and not you. Even if it seems like it, it's in your own head. If someone might glance over at you, they're not thinking anything. Don't worry about it. And if someone is judging you or thinking about you, they're not worth your time or trouble, so just don't worry about it. Tio, do you meditate or do some kind of mindfulness, and you recommend any app? I'm trying the Waking app by Sam Harris. I haven't heard of that app. I'll have to check it out. Meditation is something I have been wanting to get into for a while, but to be completely honest with myself, just haven't really put in the effort. There are a couple of apps that I really like. My favorite one is an app called Oak, OAK. I think there's an Android and an iOS version, but it's definitely on iOS. It's made by a wonderful gentleman named Kevin Rose. Super cool guy. He has a podcast and stuff that's amazing. You should go check it out. I'm a little obsessed. I've been following his career for like 15 years now. He used to be on G4 Tech TV when I was a teenager, and then he had a podcast before podcasts were really a thing. And I big fan of his. But yeah, he made an app called Oak that's really, really great. I've used it, but I haven't used it consistently to say that I'm a regular meditator. But I do really like that. But outside of literal meditation, I tend to try and use a lot of my like mundane tasks and chores as a form of meditation. Any random simple tasks like that, I really try and immerse myself in that moment. If I'm cleaning dishes, I'm just cleaning those dishes, and I'm really like paying attention. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but there's it's very meditative for me to do some of those tasks, and I think you can make room for a lot of that stuff in your life, in your just day to day, without taking separate time to meditate. It's been a big reason why I haven't really pushed forward as much as I probably should if I really want to get into it, just because I have those kind of mindful moments that I try and incorporate throughout my day, every day, or try to. Let's see, Tom Sawyer. Hi, how close were you to the Antifa protests the other day? I'm in the Pearl District. I was probably about a mile, maybe a little bit less than a mile away. But yeah, it was far away. It's nothing to worry about. And usually, the media makes those protests and all of that stuff seem so extreme, like the streets are on fire out here. It hasn't been, day-to-day business for everyone has been relatively unchanged during any of those protests and stuff. It was confined to a pretty small area, so definitely no safety concerns or anything like that. I do have a little bit of a story, though, about that. Well, let me get some water. So, a couple of months after we moved here, to Portland, Donald Trump got elected into the presidential office, and there were a bunch of riots in Portland, and this was right when we were like fresh in town and fresh in our city living and not used to anything. And there was a marching protest where there was a handful of people like smashing windows and breaking stuff in the streets. Super, super crazy. My wife and I were in bed getting ready to go to bed, and we heard this crowd roar outside. I thought our windows were open, and the Moda Center where the Portland Trailblazers play is a mile or two from us. So I thought it was all new sounds to us. Like I said, we just moved into the city, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe a Trailblazers game got out or something. And then I realized my windows were closed, and I could still hear this roar of crowd. And so I was trying to search online really quick to figure out what was happening. Pulled up a live news feed of a helicopter of these riots happening, and it was super, super surreal, to watch. I was watching a live feed of this helicopter showing the riots on my computer, and I could hear the copter outside filming. They got a couple blocks from us, but even with that, it was made out to be this extreme protest. There was like 3 people in a crowd that damaged a handful of things. Fortunately, it was pretty minimal, but the news loves to blow stuff up for the clicks and the views and all that stuff. Yeah. Always remember with news stations, they are getting paid to keep your attention. So remember that. They're trying to come up with the most exciting news possible. So a lot of times stuff is just blown out of proportion and super extreme. Let's see. Mood Fitness. been thinking about keeping chicken salad. However, getting a double cheat day or just cheat week to refeed, and starting to have loose skin because I'm worried. Regardless, I have 30 kilograms to lose. Well, as far as refeeds and cheat days are very, very different. A refeed, essentially 400 calories worth of carbs. So like a big bowl of cereal is going to be enough to refeed your glycogen stores in your muscles. People think, these crazy cheat days are like, oh yeah, it's for a refeed. You don't need an extra 3,000 calories worth of fat and carbs for a refeed. Few hundred calories will do just fine. But I am a big fan of cheat days for the mental benefits. I think taking that respite from not having to think about your food for a day can be super beneficial, and kind of getting some of those cravings out can be super beneficial. So doing a refeed or a cheat day, they are very different, but I think there are benefits to both. A cheat week is definitely unnecessary. You'll refill your glycogen stores with one big meal of carbs. So I would not recommend a full cheat week, but do what you do. It's more important about the long term and getting back on track. If you do make mistakes, or if you do go on cheat days or cheat weeks or whatever, I messed up so many times during my weight loss, and then I would kind of hide from the problem. I wouldn't weigh myself. I fell off track just because, I messed up yesterday. Might as well just do it again today. I think the big difference is what you do after those things. So if you feel confident that you can get back on track like nothing happened, that week and the big picture of a couple of years worth of losing weight, or even a few months worth of losing weight, is going to be negligible. But just be prepared to have the self-control to turn it back off. Let's see. And I think there was another part to that, wasn't it? Oh yeah, starting to have loose skin. I'm worried regardless. Don't be worried about loose skin. I don't understand everyone's fear of loose skin. To put it bluntly, I've said this in all the comments too, but having loose skin is infinitely better than being morbidly obese. I was morbidly obese my whole life. It was terrible. Having loose skin isn't the most ideal, but it's far better than being morbidly obese. And so if those are my two options, I'm going to take the loose skin, and I don't have any regrets. I'm not afraid of it. It's not a big deal. If it's that or morbid obesity, take the loose skin. And the thing that really kind of gets me on this, so many people ask, I'm not saying anything specifically to you for asking. It's fine. I don't mean to sound mean. But people are not losing weight because of the fear of potentially having loose skin. You don't even know if you're going to have loose skin, and a potential of having loose skin is worse for you than being morbidly obese and unhappy. I just can't understand a scenario where that is accurate for anyone. So it just blows my mind. Don't worry about the loose skin. It's totally fine. It's so much better than being obese. So just power through. If you have it, you'll learn to live with it. Trust me. I was self-conscious about it right when I started. Over time, though, I just started caring less and less, and I don't even think about it anymore. Not a big deal at all. And that should never, ever, ever, ever get in the way of losing weight. Because, being unhealthy and morbidly obese is no fun. Let's see. What else do we got here? Chirora, as everyone else, know many steps to lose weight, but can't develop that dedication. Do you have any steps for that? Absolutely. I talked about this, hinted at a little bit earlier, and I think I talked about it last month, or it might have been on the Patreon stream. I don't know. I went on a rant about this recently, but reverse engineer everything. You want to make the path that you need to be on needs to be the easiest possible path to follow. Let me grab another drink, sorry. But your path to success has to be the easiest route. You will always follow the path of least resistance. So you need to design that path in a way to keep you on track. Because, you can set up these crazy goals. I'm going to eat 1,200 calories per day, and I'm going to have 12 carbs per day, and I'm going to lose 5 pounds a week. And it's going to be awesome. Those crazy unsustainable plans and goals are what is what's going to make you fall off track. You want it to be painfully easy, and it seems backwards. It doesn't seem like that's what you should be doing, but you want to make it as easy as possible, even if that means you're going slower. It's totally the best way to go, because if you stay on track long term, you're going to lose a lot more weight than if you go super extreme and then you fall off track, and then you go super extreme and then you fall off track. I did that for years. It was stupid. I wasted a bunch of time. Kind of now, after learning everything I've learned and what worked for me and what didn't work for me, slow and steady and making things as easy as possible. Learn your fail points and learn your weak points. And all of those different failures that you have are new pieces of information you have to stay on track long term. So if you mess up, take a step back, think about what happened, think about what caused the failure, and develop a plan to avoid that failure from having any potential happening in the future. It's a little analytical, but that's what has to happen. So just reverse engineer everything around your failure points. That's why I recommend such broad terms for everybody, because everyone has different fail points and weak points and strengths. You need to, from your trial and error and failure, you will develop this arsenal of what works and doesn't work. So that's what I'd recommend. Once I started really wrapping my head around that mindset, it made everything much easier. Nurhan, hey, I'm from Malaysia. I've been following you for 2-3 months already. Love your videos so much. Thank you so much. Always nice to see new people coming in. Yeah, we've been growing pretty steady for years. I've never had any super crazy viral moments or everything. It's just been more and more people slowly over time. I really appreciate the support. That is awesome. And I'm happy to have you here. Wesley, did you ever struggle with your body image after losing weight? Yes, I did. I've made a few videos about this. If you kind of dive through, I have a weight loss playlist on the channel with 100 plus weight loss videos that I've made, and that has some related videos. I would just kind of search through the titles. I don't have a specific one in mind, but I've kind of covered that in a handful of videos. But yeah, I was pretty self-conscious. I think what helped me overcome that was just a mix of time and fitness. Getting into fitness really helped with my body image and self-confidence, and it did make an impact on my physique because I'd lost weight and I was kind of happy with my weight, but still kind of had that skinny fat feel. Just because I know I was at the weight I'm at now and had a completely different physique. I was actually a few pounds heavier than I am now, but historically over the past few years. But yeah, that's the big thing I recommend. Find a good activity or hobby that is fitness related. That helped me a lot. Building up muscle and kind of makes you feel good and strong. I really like that. But outside of that, I think it's just time. Your brain sometimes needs to catch up with what your body looks like currently. And then also too, there is a level of, with the loose skin, maybe you don't have your dream body, abs and six pack that you might have dreamed of your whole life if you weren't fat, but what you have is plenty good. And so I think it's just a mix of time and getting into fitness was a big factor for me too. Let's see. Tio, to all the viewers, you have one from Malaysia and I'm from Argentina. That's amazing. Yeah, that's super cool. I love the global audience of YouTube. I think it makes things super fun. I've been talking to a guy from Turkey recently too. It's super cool. It makes me want to travel more. But that's awesome. Tell me in the comments, what's your favorite part of your country that you live in or your city that you live in, or let me know where you're from and what your favorite thing is from your city. Leave that in the comments. I'll go through and read them. Always looking for new places to travel. Over time, long term, I'm really hoping to work towards a budget where I can travel a lot. I think that would be a lot of fun, so hoping. Let's see. Ford TW35. Hello, Josh. Good to see your videos every time. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you like them. Really appreciate the support too. It's awesome. The channel's changed a little bit over the years, and I'm happy to see so many familiar faces and so many people still enjoying what I'm making. I'm always trying to serve a lot of different aspects when I make videos. I need to make sure that I'm passionate and happy about what I'm making. I'm always trying to make sure that it's something that's going to be interesting or educational for all of you. So I'm glad that it doesn't go unnoticed. Glad that you're enjoying it. Can I ask, did you ever fall off the wagon for a few weeks and have a backslide, weight gain of a few kilograms in a few weeks, and how did you get back on track? Oh, absolutely. I kind of touched on this a bit earlier, but I had my biggest backslide and my weight loss was probably almost a year. I really can't remember exactly anymore. It would have been around 2012, 2013. Oh no, it was around like 2013. I had moved out of my parents' house and got an apartment with my now wife, then girlfriend, and my best friend Travis. So we were all living together for the first time, and I'd just gotten a new job. It was all of the shake up to my routines, just destroyed everything. And like I said, I would go through these cycles of messing up, and so then I didn't want to weigh myself and figure out how bad I messed up. So then I let the problem grow exponentially over time, and I would fall off track just because I messed up then. I might as well just do this too. And I went in this vicious cycle of hiding from my mistakes over and over and over again. But yeah, I had so many backslides and so much lost progress. My weight loss took about 4 years. If I would go back to do it now, if I did everything perfectly, I probably would have cut it in half. That's how many backslides I had. So don't feel bad about a few weeks. Like I said earlier, it's all about what you do afterwards. You're going to have many more mistakes and backslides and missteps along the way. You just need to learn to pick yourself back up the next day and keep going. That's really the big difference for what works long term. Let's see. Tonatia is lost. Josh, keep going with the amazing videos. Thank you so much. RJ, hi Josh. Hello everyone. TGIF from Denver, Colorado. Failures offer expansion and growth. Denver seems like a great place. I've actually never been. I keep seeing cheap flights out there from Portland. I'd love to go sometime. Love the mountains. So yeah, I'll have to make it out there. But yeah, failures offer expansion and growth. Very well said. I wrote down, so I'll let you in a little bit on some of my process with my weight loss videos, or I don't want to call them motivational videos, but like the videos that talk about failures and success and reaching goals, and my goal related videos. Sometimes I'll just have a single sentence or a single thought in my head, and I write it down, and then I just kind of dwell on that. I'll have a moment of realization with a phrase or a sentence or a thought, and try and develop that into a video. I had a really good one around that the other day, and this will probably be a video at some point in the future, so I'm giving it away early a little bit, but I just have to find where it was. Oh yeah, so I wrote this down. Yeah, if you were successful on the first try, then you would never learn anything. And then if you don't learn anything, you won't grow, and you can't grow, so you can't grow without failure. So yeah, if you didn't never fail, you'd never learn anything. And if you don't learn anything, you don't grow. So failure is growth. Love it. Watching from Ireland, that's amazing. I'm like half Irish. Ireland is probably, it's in my top 5 places I want to go, at least, if not number 1. It seems super beautiful there. Kind of very similar with the greenery and the cloudiness that Portland offers. But Portland in the summer is shockingly sunny. Everyone tries to keep away everybody because they want to keep it special and small. But Portland is super nice in the summer. Sinan, thanks for the advice. I'm from India. Nice to meet you. Another country in the mix here. Let's see. Mood fitness. I don't mind having loose skin. I agree with you. Loose skin is better than obesity. However, I need to avoid it as much as I can. Much love from Syria. Nice, another country. But, you said, however, I need to avoid it as much as I can. There's no way to avoid it. There's no way to get rid of it. I need to make that abundantly clear because I've had to answer thousands of comments on my weight loss story video with there's some Dr. Eric Berg or something out there that has some loose skin miracle nonsense with intermittent fasting. And I get to tell people, I've been intermittent fasting for 5 years and it was unchanged. But yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. That's why I say not to worry about it, because you can't change if you get loose skin or not. Other than losing weight at a healthy rate, 1 to 2 pounds per week, and even that, I would argue, doesn't really make that big of an impact. So there's not really anything you can do to prevent it or fix it. And if you can't control it, there's no sense in worrying about it or having anxiety about it or feeling bad about it. It's out of your control. And so just let it flow. Let's see. RJ, favorites from Denver: art, people, mountains, train system, weather, and vibrancy. Grateful to be here. One of my favorite places on earth. Japanese garden in Portland, Oregon. Oh, I love the Japanese gardens. We went, one of the first times we went there, right after we moved, I didn't realize they did tours, and we just went at the perfect timing where they were just about to start a tour. If you're ever in Portland, go to the Japanese gardens and make sure to take the tour. It was this old dude that tends to the place, and he was super informative and made everything just like infinitely cooler hearing. Apparently the Japanese gardens in Portland are some of the best outside of Japan. Super, super cool. I'm a sucker for plants, as you guys know. I used to grow bonsai trees too when I was younger. I haven't had as much time to care for them, so I haven't gotten any in a while, but I have all my houseplants now, which I love. But yeah, the dedication into the craft of those gardens is absolutely insane. They have big full-size trees that they uproot and rotate to make sure that they get even leaf coverage and everything. I'm not doing it justice at all. It's super cool if you're ever in Portland, but yeah, just the attention and care that goes into things like bonsai trees or those Japanese gardens and everything are just so cool to me. I love it so much. I feel like nature is the main thing that keeps me grounded in like real reality. I'm very future focused most of the time, but nature really helped me stop and smell the roses, for the lack of a less cheesy term. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Rebecca Christopher. Hi, Josh. How do you interact with less supportive family members, parentheses, who even seem to sabotage your weight loss success? Especially when living close by, there is no way to just ignore or cut ties. Yeah, that is a very tough one. Luckily, my friends and family, to varying degrees, were all relatively supportive. There were some tough times, and for a while, it hasn't really come up in a few years now, but my mom was like insistent that I lost way too much weight for a long time. It's very difficult, but I wish I had really solid, good advice to give for you right now, but I don't have a lot. Do you live with them, or I think you said you live close by, so at least you don't live with them. Living with them is very problematic too, because you share a kitchen, but living close by, I think the big thing, just ignore them. People, and I don't know about your family specifically, but people seem to feel threatened by others reaching or trying to achieve their goals, because it really makes them self-reflect back in on themselves for what they're doing. It makes them feel self-conscious, makes them feel like something's wrong with them because they're not doing it. You just have to do your best to ignore it. It's not very good advice, and it's still very difficult to do that. but just try and ignore it. If it's a matter of, going out to eat with your family or something, and people are giving you trouble, or they're going to places that don't fit into your diet, you can kind of, I have a video about how to eat out at restaurants when you're dieting. Try and take control of the decision making for where you go for going out to eat. But yeah, in terms of other aspects, you just have to do your best to ignore them, as long as you're losing weight in a safe way. But yeah, people are always going to feel threatened by that stuff, and there's not much you can do to get it through their heads, unfortunately. Excuse me, I'm talking too much. Let's see. I'm afraid of cancer or whatever because of loose skin, because I'm 23. I'm sorry, let me reread this. I'm afraid of cancer or whatever because of loose skin, because I got 23, because I lost 23 and still have 27 kilograms. Will I need surgery? Like I said, there's no way to know until it happens for whether or not you'll have loose skin or how severe it'll be. And as far as I'm aware of, I don't think there's any way to get cancer from loose skin. So just try not to worry about it. SW Best, hello. Nice to see you. Brandon Joseph, hey Josh, greetings from Dubai. Dubai seems like a crazy place. Leave me a comment down below about it if you want to. It just seems like it's a whole other universe there. You live there, so I guess it's not different for you. But everything I see about Dubai, just with the tall buildings and the supercars, and it seems just like a crazy, crazy place. I'm fascinated by it. I don't necessarily feel eager to go visit, but it just seems like a very fascinating place, like it's the future over there or something. I've been inspired with your weight loss journey and love the content you produce. I want to ask if you have any advice towards awkward introverts who have to go for careers doing a lot of extrovert stuff, like going for client meetings, personal development, or having to go public speaking. Great question from another super awkward introvert myself. It just takes a lot of practice. For me, I've always been pretty quiet and introverted, but I've always had more extroverted jobs. So I kind of just had to learn how to be better at it. I worked in a call center. I was a call center manager for 4 years, I think, 3 or 4 years. Luckily, that being over the phone was a lot nicer for me. So it was a good kind of segue into, I had that level of removal, which made it very, very nice. But from there, I got a commission sales job. So that really forced me to get out of my comfort zone. I think of it like a muscle. You just need to practice and practice and practice. For me, and what I realized, when you put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, whether it's, in this case, or taking a chance on working towards a goal, or anything outside of your safe, comfortable zone, you're going to expand that comfort zone and that radius, and it's going to get a lot easier to utilize those other aspects that might not come as naturally for you. So just practice. It's exhausting and it's scary, but you just have to practice. Coming from an introvert that is on YouTube right now, live streaming to, there's 10 people. It's a lot for me, but, it's tough and exhausting, but you just have to practice it, and it does get a lot better over time. That commission, because I sold mattresses, was my commission sales job. I did that for like 7 years, and so that really forced me out most. I think between that and doing all the YouTube channel and stuff has made such a big impact. But I think for me, what helped get past those things, for work, one, it was like my paycheck depended on it. So that's a big motivator. If your entire income depends on you practicing that helped a bunch for me. And then as far as other aspects like the YouTube channel, it's this weird mix for me, and I feel like people can probably pick up on it sometimes, especially if you've been watching throughout the whole channel. You know, I almost like I don't want attention. um, I sometimes I worry, like, if my channel ever is super successful and giant and everything, like, getting a ton of attention and eyes on me is super scary. But I have this obligation in my brain to like share and help and educate. And lately I have been blending in more things that are just more fun for me outside of just education. But the core of why I started this channel, I just had information that I needed to share to people. I'm realizing I've been doing a lot of self-reflection and trying to learn about myself and stuff, a lot of that stuff lately. And I just have like a real need to help people. So I think, having that core desire behind it really helped me force myself past that uncomfortable zone. So just practice. In short, practice, practice, practice. Let's see. SW Best. Now that you've lost weight, why don't you hit the weights hard? I'm sure you'd look ripped. I need to lose 2 stone, but I've got muscle underneath. I've got the muscle, but it's under some padding. If I think you've been around for a while. I know you around here. I used to do a lot more weightlifting. There are several reasons why I don't as much anymore. One, I had a really difficult time putting on muscle. Even bulking after my weight loss. It's I was training 6 days a week, and I still train 4 or 5 days a week, but a little bit less intense than I used to. But all that training, I didn't see a ton. I did get some. I still have some buffness, but yeah, I didn't see a ton of results, at least for the effort I was putting in. I think a big part of that also is having loose skin. I'm never going to have like that crazy body, 6-pack and all that stuff. So I just, I kind of made peace with that. And I'm in a place more now where I just, I like having the little bit of muscle definition I have, and it's more functional and health related fitness for me. I just don't care as much it's over the last few years. Yeah, I've kind of transitioned away. I got very fitness obsessed right after I finished losing weight for that exact reason. And then over time, I've kind of lost interest isn't the right term, but I have bigger fish to fry. I feel like, I've been using a lot of the strategies and mental side of what got me through my weight loss into, working on this YouTube channel and starting up my new businesses. And I just have things I'd rather put my time and attention into right now. And especially because even if I were 100% perfect with my diet, with my training, with everything, I wouldn't have the body I would hope for. And I'm happy with the body I have now. So I think it's a mix of all of those things. And then also too, this isn't talked about very much on YouTube fitness. And I still, not to call out any drama or anything, most fitness YouTubers talk about their weightlifting as like, I'm doing this exclusively for my health. Those really extreme weightlifting regimens deteriorate your body, and not that it's necessarily unhealthy, but you are wearing your body down, and I would rather have more longevity in my body and my muscles than have bigger muscles. It can put a lot of strain on your body doing all of that, especially over years and years and years. And then also for me, I have scoliosis, which I've been super concerned about damaging my back any further from the scoliosis. So that was another reason why I decided to lighten things up. When I was training heavier, I did have a lot more back pain. And part of that, I'm sure was my form and all that sort of stuff. But I just want to make sure I'm trying to keep in terms of fitness, I'm doing it mostly just for health at this point, and just maintaining the muscle mass I do have. I'm pretty happy with it though. So, Rebecca Christopher, thank you, Josh, for the answer. It was compassionate and encouraging. Really enjoying your content. Well, thank you. Glad that you liked it. Ford, thank you so much. RJ, Rebecca, keep your chin up. I know dealing with family is tough on many levels. Carry on, let your positive changes unfold one day at a time, with or without family support. Well said, RJ. And yeah, it's and I'm not gonna say I didn't move out to Portland because I had any beef with my family, but definitely, I mean, there's being away from the stressors that can come up from family situations is comforting. Yeah, I'm probably not the best person to ask. I just up and moved across the country instead. But like I said, I didn't mean I didn't have any big family problems before leaving or anything. But let's see. Thank you from Syria. Rebecca, thanks so much. To RJ. Brandon, love the advice. Thank you, Josh. I'm slowly doing a lot of extrovert stuff. And you're right. It's super tiring. I feel like I am having to cry every time. LOL. Dubai is super cray, like NY on steroids. Yeah, that's exactly what it seems like to me. It's like that seems like a really crazy place to be. I've been in New York City before a few different times. And then the other place would be like Tokyo I think Tokyo is the big one with all the neon lights. I'm pretty sure. That seems like another place that's just like a whole different universe from where I'm used to. But yeah, it's the extrovert stuff is tiring. I like I said, I've been doing a lot of like self-reflection and learning about myself lately, and like I'm very, very introverted and need a lot of alone time to like recharge and recuperate. But I have grown to really enjoy my socializing and my social time. But it definitely sucks the energy out of me. And with YouTube and stuff, and I'm not saying any of this to complain or for anyone to feel bad or to think I'm not doing this because I like it, but a lot of times doing YouTube video, I am drained afterwards. It's really kind of feels like you're getting the life sucked out of you, but it's like if you have the passion and desire and drive behind it, it's worth it. And there's not necessarily anything inherently bad by being drained of your energy. You just have to make sure that you have the time to recharge. So yeah, I've been trying more and more and more to have dedicated kind of recharge time for myself. Been working on that more, but yeah, it gets exhausting. Just be careful not to bite off more than you can chew. Take baby steps with your exposure and keep working on it. But yeah, because I live a very extroverted life for my preferences with being on social media and YouTube and having to pitch and sell my business and all that stuff. It's exhausting but rewarding. Yeah, we'll take your advice. I'm practicing a lot. Cool. SW Best, yeah, I've been with you since the beginning. We are very similar. Yeah, that's what I thought. I know I've seen your name around for so long. Appreciate the support all these years. Last call. Hey, nice to see you in here. We've got the OG crew rolling into the stream. Yeah, not much. If for people that have just jumped in, what's up with me is I got fresh gear. I got this camera recently. I finally picked up a proper B cam. I needed it for a couple of video projects and jobs I have coming up later this month and next month. And I've also been wanting a second camera for YouTube just because I feel like I'm at the point with my production now where my cell phone, I'm not satisfied with the cell phone quality up against my A7 III. It's shockingly acceptable in some scenarios, but not being able to change focal lengths I think is the biggest drawback for me. My B cam, I usually want more of a telephoto length, even more than the phones can do. But yeah, I just picked up a second camera. It's the A6400, the baby version of the A7 III. A lot of the same video features for $900 compared to $2,000. If anyone's in the market for a camera, this thing would be absolutely perfect for like YouTube or getting started with video. I haven't tested anything on the photos for this yet, so I can't speak to that, but just picked it up a couple of days ago. I've been doing some tests and everything. But yeah, super excited to get to have a proper second camera. Another big reason outside of wanting, because like I said, I have a couple of multicam video shoots for clients coming up in the next couple of months, so I needed it for that. But I also needed a backup camera, just because I've had my A7 III overheat on me before, and I don't want to have a camera that breaks. Say I drop my camera if I'm out on a job and I don't have a backup, like I just ruined that company's video or that client's video, and I'm not about to risk that. So yeah, excited to have a single camera now. It was unfortunate to have to put in so much money into another camera. At this point, I would have rather bought something more exciting than just a backup camera, but excited that I was able to afford it because getting some steadier work in, and I'm excited too. This is going to open up a lot more potential for YouTube videos. As I'm realizing, as I get more into talking about kind of the creative stuff with the photography and videography, or a lot of that sort of thing, as I get more into that, I'm realizing I can't talk much about, like, say I want to go hiking and take photos, like do landscape photography. I can't film myself doing that because I have to use my camera to take the photo. So now that I have two cameras, not only will it be nice to have like multiple angles for talking videos and stuff like that again, but it really opens up a lot for what is going to be possible. I can get more behind the scenes sort of stuff. This will be nice and small to do vlogs or sort of things, because usually nowadays the only time I'm really going out for anything is like for photo shoots or video jobs or random stuff like that. So it'll be nice to have a second camera to be able to capture more of my day to day. I know a bunch of people have asked to see more of that stuff, but I haven't really been able to show it, because if I'm out using my camera for a living, I can't shoot a video and use it for a client. So it'll be exciting for that. And what's up with you, last call? I just went on a huge rant. Let's see. Nice camera, SW Beth. Thank you. Do you still play bass? I'm a guitarist and singer. I don't actually. I ended up selling all of my bass equipment when my old band broke up. I haven't had any of it since. And actually, at that point, I didn't even own a bass. The bass I used for like the second half of my band's existence was actually our guitar player's bass, his uncle's more specifically. I sold my bass to buy an amp, and then I used his bass with my amp. But I ended up selling all that stuff. I forgot what I needed to buy, but ended up buying some other things instead, just because bass is boring in my opinion. At least with my skill level, bass is very boring to play by yourself. I don't know how to do slap bass or anything super cool like that. But I have a guitar and a banjo still, just a cheapo acoustic guitar. Over time, hopefully as my finances open up more to have some more fun spending, I really want to get an electric guitar set up with a couple of pedals, like looping pedals and like reverb delay stuff, to make some music by myself. I think that would be really fun. I also really want to get a MIDI keyboard, start making some beats and electronic type of music. I think would be really, really fun. Then I would also really love to get a keyboard or a piano, but all of those, I just can't really justify the expense right now, and I have a laundry list of things I would rather buy, like for the YouTube channel or for the video business, or I'd rather go on vacation, or I have a big list, and that has been relatively low on the priorities for quite a while, but eventually I'd like to get some of that stuff back. But yeah, as of right now, I have a guitar and a banjo. Been going well with that. I'm getting more and more hoarse. We just crossed the hour mark. Bear with me. I'm happy to stay since the comments are still rolling in, but bear with my raspy voice. Let's see. Today this. Hi, I'm a regular viewer Any plans to visit India? None in the future, but eventually I'd like to visit everywhere, to be honest. But yeah, I was just talking earlier. I don't know if you just popped in or not, but Dubai seems like a super crazy place. Seems like a sight to be seen. So maybe I'll make it over there at some point. Gigging put the weight on me. Beer and eating bad food. SW best. Totally. That was again I talked about earlier with the falling off track and stuff. Gig in life is something else on your health. Yeah, we there were in the peak of my band's like touring and playing shows. We were out. We were playing a couple of shows a week. And it's usually we were driving. If we weren't on tour, we were driving across the state and going multiple hour drives and staying up all night. And so I was drinking energy drinks and eating gas station food and drinking and it was a very unhealthy lifestyle because every show has a party with it, at least in like the smaller local music scenes in my experience. So lots of shows, lots of partying, lots of drinking, lots of junk food, lots of irregular sleep, which has a big impact also. It's a crazy life. That was one of the things that really helped with kind of finishing off my weight loss. Once my band broke up, I kind of took all my energy and attention into losing weight. It's tough especially if you're not a full-time musician, just because I had a, like 9-to-5 type of office job when I worked at the call center, and I was out playing shows with my band. So I was working a ton. I was super busy, had a super irregular, unhealthy schedule. Lipsy, you probably had this question asked, but you still have loose skin from all the weight loss? Yes, I do. You'll have to replay the stream later. I had a big rant about this earlier, but I do have loose skin. It's not a big deal though. I'm totally okay with it. No plans for surgery or anything. Last call. Back on the wagon, refocusing on the mental aspect of life and getting my weight back under control. Hashtag Beachbody 2020. Love it. That's super great to hear. It's like I said earlier, it's all about what you do after those mistakes. This won't be your last. No big deal. Try not to be too hard on yourself, as tough as that is. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're getting things back under control, and that's all you can ask of yourself at this point. The mistakes made, you can't change it. You can only change what you're doing right now and moving forward. So that's awesome. If you ever need any help, feel free, email me or DM me or something. Always happy to help. Let's see. Tyler Grover, just getting into video photography as a hobby and live in Oregon City and commute to Wood Village. If you ever want a BTS, would love to help out and get some practice. Excellent. Well, I will keep that in mind for sure. I'm still trying to figure out and coordinate more. I've been doing some like cell phone BTS videos for the Patreon page. And over time, I would like to do more of that. The problem, and this is just me just sharing the situation I'm concerned about. I haven't quite figured out a solution or if it is okay or not, but the big issue I'm concerned with is I don't want YouTube to get in the way of client work if I'm out like on a job. Some situations I know it'll be okay. I haven't had that big of a variety of work though to know like what's going to work and what's not going to work, and I don't want to risk upsetting anyone. I don't want to risk upsetting any clients, or I don't want to risk putting my attention more on YouTube than the paid work, just just out of respect for people paying me to make videos for them. So that's the issue I've been struggling with. Eventually, I think that'll be okay as, the videos get bigger and the production budgets and everything get bigger, and as I build up more of a rapport with certain clients. That's something I would like to do long term, but in the short term, for me, I worry about starting up that stuff just for a mix of respecting the client's time, and then also, client video work is very new to me too. So like every job, I'm still like, making sure I'm doing everything right. I'm still learning a lot. I'm still making mistakes. So I just want to make sure and deliver the best possible product for them. So over time, with more practice from me and more rapport from the clients, that'd be really cool. But yeah, I will be sure to keep that in mind. SW Best, right? Going to the gym. See you later. Thanks so much for hanging out. Last call. Thanks, BFL. Bye. Hopefully you caught my goodbye back. But last call is going to off to the gym. Everyone's leaving me for the gym. I can't blame them. I'm probably going to work out after this. I can't decide. I have a bunch of housework to do. That's actually, I'll bring that up as a little talking point with exercise does not have to be in the gym or in the traditional sense of what exercise is. If your goals are to get muscly, then that's a little bit of a different story. But if you're just mainly worried about burning calories or your overall fitness and health, exercise can come in so many different forms, whether it's like fun hobby related things like hiking or biking or playing basketball or going on walks or running, or I don't know, running's more regular exercise, I guess, but fun activities can be exercise. But then also, keep in mind things like housework or, I don't know, yard work, things like that. That's really good exercise too. So some days if I know like I'm going to be up and like hauling stuff around, or I'm going to be cleaning our apartment for 8 hours, or if I'm on a video job, I gotta freaking like run around with my camera for 12 hours. Like that's enough exercise for me. I think people forget sometimes. So some days I know, like if I know I'm going to have a super active day, I won't work out, and I kind of count that active day as my workout. And it's been working really well for me. I'm actually leaner now than I've ever been. I'm at 170, which I've been at 170 before, but I think my muscles have developed more since the last time I was at this weight. And I also just feel so much better at this weight now versus back, I think it was 2016. I went down from 180 to 170, but the ease that I've been able to maintain this weight to lately has been super great. I've been busy, I've been active, I've been at home with my kitchen. It has gotten nice and easy for me, which has been super cool. But all right, well, I caught up on the comments, and looks like we are, we're at an hour 10. So if anyone else has any other questions or anything, be sure to leave them now. Consider this the last call for the Q&A. My voice is just going from all this talking. So, if you have any other questions, leave them down below. I can hang out for a second here. I think the latency is light enough on this stream for me to see before I go. But yeah, if no one else has any questions, I think I'm going to duck out. I've got our friends coming into town. If anyone's been here the whole stream, got that. So I'm going to be going on vacation for a few days here, and then working on a little bit of a different video for next week. I'll tease it and leave it at that. But make sure if you do want to see streams like this, I stream on Patreon every Thursday at 10 a.m. for everyone that helps support the channel. I do Q&As just like this, except it's a much smaller group, so we can usually deep dive a little bit more. Then I also kind of explain some of the things for the videos that I'm making, or why I made them, or kind of further deep dives onto the topics from the channel. And then you do get access to the videos early as well. So if you do want to see more of these streams, be sure to check out the Patreon page. It's patreon.com/JoshFenn. You can sign up. It's free for the whole month until August 1st. So you can kind of test everything out. You can watch like 30 live streams, and then you could cancel if you really want to. But check that out if you want to see more. It'd be an immense help for me. Every dollar makes a huge difference. So I would really appreciate it if you wanted to go give that a look. Looks like RJ. Thanks, Josh. I love using my local park for exercise. You can do so much with your body weight. Gyms are not only a place to exercise. Totally right. See you soon. Thanks again. Everyone enjoy your day. Best to all from Denver. Thank you so much, RJ. But yeah, well, I think I am going to sign off as well. But yeah, have an excellent day. Check out the Patreon if you do want to see more streams like this every week. But I will be doing another AMA for August. So we'll be doing these once a month on the main channel. Anyone that supports the channel, you get a few extra streams, so go check that out. But thank you all so much for watching. Appreciate the support. It is amazing to have you all here. So have an excellent rest of your day. I'll talk to you later.